is Nagasa from Sanyii Academy. Today I deliver the course Logic and Critical Thinking. This is the last lesson of chapter 1. I hope your contribution is doing great. I'm expecting more contribution from friends and viewers to help me. I would like to remind you to subscribe, like, share, and comment because your comment plays a significant role in improving my lesson on this YouTube channel. Besides, I also want to invite you to ask me questions that are very important regarding the courses I deliver on this YouTube channel. Please go to the lesson that I'm going to teach today. Today, I'm going to talk on the importance of learning philosophy. Why learning philosophy is important and why students are given the course in universities. Basically, in every subject, there is a philosophy. Philosophy is behind every subject. Without philosophy, we cannot think of any subject. The main reason of learning philosophy is to critically examine one's life and the world we live in. A person who doesn't know and critically understand about his life is not a person who is capable of knowing the world he lives in. So we have to understand and we have to learn about our life. We have to be able to define ourselves, understand ourselves, and depict the self concept we have to others. So, critically, we have to examine the life we are living in the world we are living. That is the reason why philosophy is important. It involves reasons, critical evaluation of our perception, reasoning capacity, and so on. To critically examine one's life and the world we live in, we need to learn philosophy. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. We have to know our life, examine what is the purpose of my life? Why am I living on this earth? What missions do I have? And why am I here? This is a basic question that everybody should ask himself. We have to critically know who we are, what sort of life we are leading, is it good life, and what sort of issues and actors are we going to accomplish in our daily involvement and interaction with other people. Studying philosophy helps us to critically examine our life, to critically examine the world we live in. The world is full of complex things and diversified issues are already in the world. To know our role in this very complex and ever-changing world, we need to learn what our life is and what the world we live in is. This helps us to build the whole understanding, diversified understanding of our world, our life. Studying philosophy improves reasoning and critical skills. This improves our critical thinking. It helps us to extend our thinking beyond the normal, to produce reasons, ask questions, and then find answers for those questions based on available evidences. This is very important for everyone. You need to develop the skill of reasoning. You need to develop the skill of critical thinking. You should not be a yes person. You should not be a person who is driven by any message given to him. You have to have the capacity of reasoning. This improves your reasoning and critical thinking capacity. Skills that are gained by philosophical majors. Students who learn philosophy as a major are useful in almost any career. Every education, knowledge, thinking has a philosophy. Without philosophy, running a life project is impossible. In the first lesson, I just talked about having philosophy and doing philosophy. Although these two things are two separate things, they are interdependent. A person naturally has a philosophy. That philosophy is not complete unless that person put the philosophy he has into practice by doing. Learning philosophy helps us to improve our listening and critical thinking skills, which are also important to improve our career in life. The ability to think logically by providing reasons, and those reasons are supported by premises, evidences, and conclusions to address and prove our position. The ability to analyze and solve problems. Without critical thinking capacity, we cannot, as a person, solve problems. Problems requires a person who has a skill of problem solving. To solve problem, we need to have complete understanding of that problem, analyze available alternative we use to address that problem. Then we have to decide which action best address the problem. The skill of critical thinking help us to solve the problem. This skill is gradually developed by learning. The other reason is the ability to assess proper solution. This is decision making approach. You have to identify the problem, propose available solutions, and select the best solution that can address that problem, and then finally evaluate whether it is addressed or not. The ability to write and speak clearly, attending to the details. If we know how to reason, how to produce arguments, how to deliver that argument to the audiences, then this help us to develop the skill and ability to write arguments, to speak arguments, to defend ourselves against injustice, to help us improve our personal skills. Some modern psychologists point out that human beings have both maintenance and actualizing needs. Humans have both maintenance and actualizing needs. Maintenance needs are physical and psychological needs we need to achieve, we need to obtain to carry out our life. A person needs this maintenance need like food, shelter, security, social interaction, and the like. Without this, we cannot do our daily businesses. Without food, we cannot move. Without shelter, security, clothes, these basic needs and psychological needs are very important for a person to go beyond those needs in the next step. These maintenance needs are very important, they say. The second need that they talk of is actualization need. These needs are associated with self fulfillment. It is beyond the maintenance need. Creativity, producing something new, innovation, self expression, expressing yourself without any challenge, without any problem, realization of one's potential, digging and discovering the potential that you have and exploiting that potential beyond an apparent, beyond the normal living, ordinary living, and being everything that you can be. Abraham Maslow, the American economist, has identified these self actualization needs. Self actualization needs are those needs that you do after fulfilling your maintenance need. It is a point, it is a level where you can impact others, the life of others, by fulfilling your own needs. These are very important. Also, philosophy may not necessarily lead to this sort of self actualization by itself. It can assist us to actualize ourselves by promoting the ideal of self actualization. The major change starts from mind. Mind is the motor to change and think about the future of human being. When you start to think about those things, about self-actualization needs, philosophy helps you to justify to achieve those ends. What sort of tasks and what sort of reasoning skills and capacity you need to apply to reach on self-actualization needs. For example, self fulfillment, creativity, self expression, realization of one's own potential, well understood if it is reasoned out, if it is justified. Let us see some characteristics of self actualization. What are the characteristics of self actualization? Number one, characteristics of self actualized person is intellectual and behavioral independence. A person who achieved the status of self actualization has intellectual and behavioral independence. He is not subject to manipulation. A person who has achieved self actualization does present his own opinion without any challenge. He express or she express her own beliefs without any hesitation. They have the capacity. They are independent. They are guided by their own thinking, by their own justification and reasons. They integrate their experiences to a coherent, unified, and system of worldview. They are not shaken by any unconfirmed information that is just distributed, diffused by the society. They know how to integrate their experiences with the existing reality. Nothing moves them. They know they are independent. They are ready to learn. They are ready to teach. They are ready every time to accept whatever critics you say, but they are not subject to any kind of influence. They are not subject to any kind of manipulation. The other is reflective self awareness. A person who has complete self actualization has a clear knowledge of himself, what his needs are, what his likes and dislikes are, and what he has to do. And also, they know the world in which they live. They know themselves. They have complete self understanding. They have complete self conceptualization. They are not subject to any negative words that everyone else throw to them. They do not request people to define them because they have complete self definition. This is why self actualized persons are always successful in their career. They are successful in their marriage. They are successful in their future life. And the third characteristics is they are flexible, they are tolerant, and open minded. We encounter various views, thoughts, not necessarily true or false. So the value of attitudes is contextual. They do not think attitude is absolute, it is contextual. In the society we live, we might see people who accept everything as it is, who do not question what that thing is even. Religious people who do not want you to question their religion. There are people who do not want you to question their culture. There are people who do not want you to question their capacity. There are people who fear to express their identity. But a person who achieved the status of self actualization is flexible. They make decisions in a context. They know what they have to speak. They know what they have to say in terms of such things. They know there are differences. They know their nature by itself is the source of differences. They know, they understand. Everyone is not equal. They tolerate the difference. They are open-minded to every critics. They accept criticism. They accept appreciations, but they are not influenced by this. They know what they have to do. We then tolerate the differences of views, ideas, and thoughts. The other one is they are creative and critical thinkers. Creativity and critical thinking is another characteristics of self-actualization. People who have achieved this status, this level of development, always are creative, always are critical thinkers. They think critically, reason critically, and also evaluate, theorize, and justify any argument they forward, any actions they take, any decision they make. They are not influenced by peers. They are not influenced by situations. They know what is right. They know what is appropriate. Always they think they have to produce ideas. They know they are change makers. They understand their potential. They are not subject to limitations. They know there is opportunity. They know things can be changed if they accept who they are. They think critically. They reason out, evaluate their actions. If there are problems, they redo it, they remake it, and theorize, justify, and then convince you why they took certain decision in their career, in their academy, in their marriage, in their involvement. The fifth one is they conceptualize and work out value system in morality, art, and politics. They have deep understanding about what they are doing. They always think they have to develop the values that are very important to the social construction, to the betterment of their life and their society. They are not ordinary people. They are not ordinary persons. So philosophy helps us to develop this conceptualization. This provides opportunity to formulate feasible evaluation of value and thereby to find meaning in our lives. They improve the value system. They respect the culture, the society's culture. They respect people's view. They know what they have to do in politics, in morality, art, and academy. They are not naysayers. They are not lazy people. They are not ordinary people. They think every day they have something to contribute to the society and the well being of humanity. What they are more concerned with is not their own self betterment, but they also think about the betterment of humanity. And the sixth characteristics of self-actualization is it helps to deal with uncertainty of life in the future. You know, we are not certain about the future. Life is uncertain. The future is uncertain. We have to ready to accept whatever comes our ways. You don't have to have complete reliance on the future because the future may come with something which is inappropriate. So we have to develop the capacity to withstand whatever comes our ways. Philosophy helps you to develop this kind of reasoning. So there is no absolute knowledge of the future. We have to remain indifferent, whatever comes our ways, whatever challenge we face. These are some of the characteristics of self-actualization that philosophy help us to reach or achieve. According to Peter Amato, there are top 10 reasons to study philosophy. Number one, philosophy helps us to prepare ourselves for success in wide variety of careers. It helps us to know there are wide opportunities. Philosophical study develops writing. Person who has philosophical knowledge is always active at writing, arguments, defending his position, and also convince people. Reading, reasoning, rethinking, adapting, learning, organizing, and the dialogue skills. So philosophy helps us to develop the skill of dialogue, the skill of writing, the skill of reasoning, the skill of reasoning or rethinking, adapting, learning, whatever. We are living in the fast changing business and technological environment that are very important. In this fast changing world, we need a person who has the skill of the above mentioned issues. The second one is outscore other measures on standardized exams. In schools, students need to learn philosophy because it expands their skill of learning, writing, and achievement on exams. When you learn philosophy, you develop analytical reasoning, analytical skill, the skill of analyzing things, logical reasoning, and critical thinking that are prominently featured on standardized exams like matric entrance exams. Philosophy helps us to identify those questions and achieve more in our grades. Most of the time, philosophy majors students who study philosophy tend to fare exceptionally well on these exams. They achieve on exams more than other students. The third one is to gain higher earning potential. Despite starting off behind better earning majors, At the beginning of their careers, philosophy majors on average out-aim seemingly more practical majors like business, recession, by mid-careers. In developing nations, philosophy major students achieve more because they have a great role in politics, economics, and also other social life, justice, and so forth. So they are better paid. So this is what the person says. I'm presenting what that person has stated. The fourth one is to be a valuable discussion partner. Philosophy assists us in understanding what our own ideas are based on, our argument, the main topic, and how they stand in relation to those of others when exploring complex issues. This helps us to develop the ability to discuss with other partners and make us to be chosen by people to make discussion with. We have to develop the skill of just discussion. So this may help us to stand as standing persons. Philosophy help us to develop the skill of discussion. The fifth one is prepare for career in law. In law, there is a philosophy, and you have to deal with cases in court. So, philosophy develop relevant skills like making and criticizing argument, careful reading of complex texts, and clear, precise writing. In courts, in laws, this help us to understand jargon, statements, complex writing, and help us to develop the skill of making and criticizing arguments. And the sixth one is philosophy bring perspective to your career. The really good doctors, engineers, and scientists think deeply about their work and its effect on the people and the world. So they have to take philosophy classes to improve their thinking and what they have to do. Philosophy classes offer the space to think, write, and discuss one's experiences broadly, not just the how, to, but also why and the why not. It extends the spectrum of thinking. It helps the students to widen their thinking, not only how to do something, but also why to do or why not to do something. The seventh one is understanding ethical principles and their application. Ethics is a moral philosophy. Just philosophical thinking that everyone has to go through to just modify his relationship with other person. In this case, philosophy provides concepts that apply to family, social, and work situations. It teaches us what sort of moral guidelines, what sort of moral actions we have to take in our workplaces, family relationship, and societal interaction. Help us to recognize and respond to ethical issues in the real world. Once you have understanding of ethical principles, moral principles, then you start to reflect on them so people can understand you. To clear out misunderstanding in the workplace, in family, and societal relationship, we need to learn philosophy. Another reason, according to Peter, that you have to learn philosophy is to be a more informed citizen. Information is very important, and knowing all about what is going on in the politics, government system, social life, technological development, and military, whatever. Having this all information is very important to help you contribute your part in the development of the nation. To be an engaged citizen today requires an unprecedented degree of media and information shrewdness. In contemporary world, we are suffering from fake news. We are suffering from information that is not qualified, that is not reliable, information that is not real. Well informed person who has complete understanding of the politics and how the government is operating and what is going on in that country is really a kind of person we need in contemporary situation. Philosophy provides the tool to counter the distorting effects of advertising and propaganda on political and social discourses. So this helps us to develop the ability to withstand any information that is not real coming to our life. Well-informed citizen know the impact of these fake information. The ninth reason, according to Peter, is philosophy help us to discover your own definition of success. People are suffering because they accept other people's definition of success, and that is not fruitful for their effort because they adapted other people's strategy. If you need to live by philosophy of others, then you cannot change your life. You have to develop your own definition of self and also your future success. Philosophy classes present students with the challenge of confronting themselves, deeply understanding themselves, identifying their issues and ideas, and finally decide which best option they have to take. Their values, their wallet, what means to succeed and why. They provide reasons to follow some way and also justify the means they chose to follow. Students are enjoyed to have this capacity after taking philosophy classes. And the last one is not to be a yes person. A person who accepts everything, who responds to everything yes. Philosophical study encourages critical thinking, an essential aspect of creativity and innovation in the workplace. This takes practice and sometimes courage. You don't say yes to everything, every command that your boss says. You don't accept every command that is acting against your interests of the organization. You don't be a yes person when you learn successfully philosophy. Philosophy helps you to do what is appropriate and what is right. These are reasons that Peter has stated that a person should study philosophy. Today, we have seen the importance of learning philosophy, why we learn philosophy. I hope you have got some important insight that may help you improve your life and your academic career. In order to achieve more, you have to engage in philosophical thinking and improve your capacity of reasoning. That is when you learn philosophy. A person who is always studying philosophy is continually in the business of shaping his future. He is not in the shortage of ideas, shortage of opinions. You have to learn philosophy, you have to improve your skill, you have to try to understand yourself and the world you live in. And finally, I remind you again to subscribe, to like, share, and comment because your comments are very important to me to improve my daily lessons and the future program I'm trying to upload to this Sanyii Academy. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Until the next time.